Welcome to the Positive Sports Podcast. I'll be your host this evening, Irritated Ed. And alongside me today, my much happier co-host, my brother Alex. Alex, how you doing?
I'm doing fabulous. I'm doing so good that I found out.
How good are you?
So good that I found out this morning. No, I'm not going to be a father again. I lost 3 pounds during Thanksgiving break.
Dude, how is that possible?
I have no clue. So, I told you last week that we, a fitness challenge at work and weigh-in is every Monday from now to like January, middle of January, something like that. And so I got on the scale and it said I was 3 pounds less.
Dude,
that's amazing.
Where did you go for Thanksgiving? What did you do for Thanksgiving?
I ate. Then I ate. I didn't go to the gym, and I ate some more.
That's amazing.
That is. My body fat went down like 0.02%, which is the most important.
How is that possible?
I have no clue. I don't know.
That's amazing. I put on weight.
I'll take it. That's a great way to start off my Monday.
I put on weight, and it's not just the beard. Let me tell you.
Now that you let me know that you're irritated,
you're going to irritate me even more.
Yes, yeah. But I have some good brotherly advice for you.
This is the way it's gone for the last 30 some odd years of our lives.
Yeah, but I got some good brotherly advice for you.
Okay.
Being that you're irritated, there's nothing better than shaving your head. I say you shave your head.
I might. And let me tell you something. Look, the way it looks, the beard, I don't care one way or the other. Sometimes I think it looks good. Sometimes I think it looks terrible. It's got a lot of gray. It reminds me how old I am. Sometimes I don't give a shit.
A lot.
So I don't. I kind of go back and forth with it. But there are points in time where I'm just like, this thing is it's out of hand and it's itchy and I'm ready to just shave it off.
I think you should.
And so I was away this weekend for Thanksgiving, and Saturday, as my irritation over the Michigan game increased, I was like, I gotta shave this thing off. I gotta shave this thing off. And I was like, I don't have any clippers because you can't take a razor to this thing now, right? It's like a forest. It's like trying to cut a forest with a lawnmower, and I'm just like, I gotta get. And I started to it started to really irritate me. Like I almost went to Walmart.
Oh man.
And got clippers. But then I said, no, I got a week to go. I'm going to go another week. And then who knows what's going to happen on December 1st.
Well, you know what? That decision that you made to not cut your hair, I bet if you would have cut it, those are some of the decisions that you regret the next day. Like waking up in bed with someone that you probably did not plan on the night before.
Yeah, and I was completely sober, so I didn't have an excuse. Although I'll tell you what, I should have been drunk. I know you don't do college football very much, but so now we're down to the conference championship games. And of course, for me, I'm a Michigan guy, so it was very disappointing.
Is that why you're irritated? That's got to be why
that's part of why I'm irritated. I've been irritated since Saturday. But it's amazing to me, and they do this in every sport, but as Michigan lost their first game to Notre Dame, they did not look great, but they didn't look terrible. And all of a sudden it was, Jim Harbaugh sucks, he should get fired. They rattled off 10 straight wins, some very impressive wins against some good teams. Yeah. And Jim Harbaugh's taking them to the next level. There's talk about them making the playoff. And they lose to Ohio State, and now we got to fire Jim Harbaugh. It's amazing to me. There are guys in this business, in this sports world, that are so polarizing that everything is a doom and gloom, right? It's either they're the best coach ever or they need to be fired.
Right.
It's ridiculous.
I think it's the damn media. It really is the media, especially when you have a coach like Jim Harbaugh. Right, Jim? Is it Jim or Jim?
John's the one with the Ravens.
Right. Okay, Jim, and coaching at the University of Michigan.
Right, big name school.
It magnifies things, and it's really sad, I think, because Michigan had a great season. They didn't beat unranked. They beat a few ranked teams,
and they beat them handily. I mean, they beat Wisconsin, Michigan State, and Penn State. They beat Penn State 42-7. Yeah. They didn't win by like a field goal.
Right.
They drubbed some teams.
And and when it comes down to these rivalry games, again, I'm gonna say one team can be 0-10, the other team can be 10-0. Don't take the 0-10 team lightly,
Exactly.
Not that Ohio State was 0-10. I mean,
right.
they're
a good team as well.
They've had a pretty good season as well, so it's not like they got beat by.
No. But there are guys that are just polarizing where you just get and I'm just like, look, when they lost to Notre Dame, I said, look, it's the first game of the season. Let's see where this goes before we condemn the guy. And as they were winning 10 straight, I said, okay, they're having a good season, but, we're Michigan, we want to get to the playoff. And after they lose to Ohio State, they don't get to the playoff, and I understand that, but they're still having a great season.
I wonder if there's a way for them to still get in.
No.
There's no possible way at all?
No, the Big Ten is not the SEC.
Yeah.
The SEC, right. You can...
They're going to have, what, 2 teams?
The SEC... Well, the argument now comes down to, I think Notre Dame is done, and they're undefeated, so they're in.
Mm-hmm.
Clemson, I think even if they lose their conference championship game, it's against Pitt, they're probably going to get in. I mean, they've unblemished this season, so they're going to get in. Alabama would have to drive their bus off a cliff or...
And they still win.
Get beat by 50 for them to drop out of the top. If they lose to Georgia this weekend, they're not going to drop out of the top 4. And then if Georgia beats Alabama, they're going to get into the top 4, so that'd be it. The only discussion point is if Alabama beats Georgia, then who will be the 4th team to get in? Will it be Oklahoma if they should beat Texas in their conference championship game, or will it be Ohio State if they
win their Big Ten?
If they win their conference championship game? And I personally think it would be Oklahoma, because Oklahoma, their loss is to Texas, and they would avenge the loss in the conference championship game. Ohio State would not get that opportunity, and they got beat by 29 by Purdue. So, Oklahoma lost a close game to Texas, and they would avenge the loss. Ohio State lost by 29 to Purdue. So it's neither one of them has great wins on their schedule. Ohio State has the bigger win in beating Michigan by 23, but other than that, it's pretty.
Who? So they would play Purdue? No,
they're playing Northwestern in the conference championship game. But I'm just saying, if you compare their losses,
okay, gotcha.
Oklahoma's would be a better loss, and they will have avenged it, right? Whereas Ohio State's loss is ugly.
See, that's why I just can't get into college football. I mean, if Alabama loses, like you said, they're still going to get in. They're still going to be 3rd or 4th.
Well, and here's my problem with Alabama. In a situation where not everyone plays everyone, right? Where you have to rely on rankings, Alabama has a built-in advantage because the SEC, everyone thinks the SEC is the greatest thing ever, and ESPN talks about them all the time. People on ESPN have been comparing them to the Golden State Warriors, and they've been saying they've been trying to, like, they've even pushed it to Vegas to see what the odds are if they played the Bills or the Browns or some other terrible NFL team, which is just absurd.
I'm sick of that comparison.
Absurd. It's absolutely absurd. And, oh, by the way, ESPN did a preseason thing with Alabama, so Alabama got even more pub. And it's just not right.
Do they need any more publicity?
Yeah, it's just not right. If they lose by 2 touchdowns, if they lost by 2 touchdowns to Georgia, I bet you they would still end up in the top 4. And to me, that's wrong.
I'll say this about Alabama, though. because about the national championship is about all I watch, and well, they've been in it most of the time.
Yeah,
they're good. I mean,
they're very good.
The talent that they have is, it goes noticed.
Yeah, no, they are. They're very good. Don't get me wrong, but I think this season it's to the point where it doesn't matter what they do on the field; they're still going to be in the top 4, and I don't think that's right. I'm telling you, I don't care who wins at this point because my team's out, and I don't particularly like to root against other teams. I just don't give a shit. If my team's not going to win, I don't care.
Yeah.
But I almost want to see Georgia beat Alabama by, call it a touchdown. Call it 10, right? Mm-hmm. And then I want to see Oklahoma beat the brakes off of Texas and see if Alabama drops out of the top 4. And I'm willing to bet they don't. And to me, that's ridiculous.
Whatever the scenario is for some controversy, I'm all for that.
I think that's the scenario. That's the scenario. The other scenario is Alabama winning and Oklahoma and Ohio State winning convincingly, and then that'll make the Oklahoma-Ohio State discussion go ad nauseum. So,
okay.
You know who's doing the No Shave November? I just saw Marcus Mariota. He's got a.
Is he?
He's just doing the mustache, and it's looking. He's looking nice.
The porn stash.
On him, that's exactly what it looks like. That's why I didn't do the mustache, because I think it makes me look like a porn star.
Yeah, you're married. Yeah, he's probably not even married. And
I don't know, but even if you're not married, I don't think a porn star is ever a good look. Get
your Ron Jeremy on.
Get your Ron Jeremy on. Nah, I don't think so.
Grow the hair out.
Yeah,
add
there
on
you go.
A few more pounds.
Jeez.
Well, you mentioned football. We're watching the Texans and the Titans. Texans just, all of a sudden, they're up 14-10.
I thought you told me it was 10-0.
It was, until the Texans scored 2 touchdowns and made it 14-10.
Okay.
So what'd you think about any takeaways from the Thanksgiving games? I mean...
man, I do not get tired of watching the Saints play.
They're impressive, man. Can they be stopped?
Well, yeah, they can be. I mean, a little Fitzmagic and they're toast, right?
That's the last time they lost this season.
Yeah. Look, any team can be stopped, and certainly in the playoffs, I think that a matchup with the Rams again is going to be pretty interesting to watch. So of course anything can happen on any given Sunday, but I do think that the Rams and the Saints are head and shoulders the best teams in the NFC, and they're very obviously on a collision course for a conference championship game because there's nothing coming out of the NFC East or the NFC North that looks even remotely impressive. And whereas Carolina looked good at 6-1 just 3 weeks ago, no 6-1, yeah, they were 6-1.
Oh, they've lost 2 in a row.
They lost 3 in a row.
Oh, 3 in a row.
3 in a row.
Hold on, you gotta pump your brakes. Pump your brakes. You can't say the NFC North and nobody's coming out of there without mentioning the Bears.
Well, yeah.
Come on, bro.
But I'm not sold on the Bears.
Why not?
Well, because they still have Mitch Trubisky at quarterback, and that's if he plays because
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
No, their defense is really good. It's going to keep them in a lot of games, but I'm not sold on the Bears.
I don't know, man.
And I'm not sold on the Vikings.
I think the Vikings are going to be that one team that kind of goes on a little streak here. Because I think last night we seen a complete game from them.
I'd agree with
right? It was like you saw the defense, you saw the run game. Obviously, the passing game was there. Mm-hmm. I mean, Kirk Cousins threw for like 350 yards. So, but I don't know how much that's due to how bad the Packers are, because the Packers are not that good. Packers suck.
I hate to say it.
I've told you this.
Yeah, no, you have, and I watched the game pretty closely last night, and I'll tell you what I saw. I saw an old Aaron Rodgers. He looked. I'm not sure if it was him. I'm not sure if it was the play calling, but he looked particularly old. He looked particularly slow to me, more so than I've ever seen him before. And I hate to say this, but Since he won the Super Bowl, what was it, 9 years ago?
Yeah.
Something ridiculous like that. Since he won the Super Bowl 9 years ago, he hasn't done much.
No.
In the playoffs. And he is looking a step slow this year to me. And look, the Packers are not going anywhere unless that guy is top notch. And I thought he was going to be. And another thing, he has no help.
No, he doesn't.
He has no
really
help.
Doesn't.
And this is where I get really irritated with the greatest of all time conversation, because there's another guy in the NFL that has no help.
Right.
And when they matched up a few weeks ago,
different results.
All we talked about was how great Aaron Rodgers was, and we didn't even talk about the other guy, that 41-year-old guy who's got 9 Super Bowl appearances and 5 rings. We didn't even talk about him.
Yeah, I totally agree with you there. He has not had a lot of help, especially on the defensive side. Right. I mean, he's always had receivers, never had a running back.
How big is not holding on to Jordy Nelson?
Yeah.
Right?
Well, that's what he was complaining about, I think, during the offseason, was that,
Yeah.
And that offensive line is not good. I mean, McCarthy's out of there, bro. He's gone.
Well, not having the talent is not his fault.
It doesn't matter. He's gone, bro.
You think so?
The
Packers are not that kind of organization.
You know who I compare Aaron Rodgers to? Take away the rings, take away MVP.
The ring. He's only got one.
Right. Okay, well, I was going to compare it to the other guy that has rings.
Oh, okay.
But take all that, MVPs, I compare him to LeBron James, because the way I feel like he begs for help. Like, I seen it last night. He was looking for the call out, smacking the ground. He got mad. He doesn't like. He has a fit if it's not going his way. He has a fit if he doesn't have the players that he wants beside him. Very comparable.
That's I never thought of that, but that is that's pretty legit.
And if you follow me on Twitter at BrooklynGacho8, I was gonna go on a rant last night because I said it. If Aaron Rodgers does not come back in this game last night against the Vikings and wins, then I was going to go on a rant and compare him to LeBron. But I truly believe that both of those are comparable.
That's not a bad comparison.
Yeah.
That's not a bad comparison at all.
So,
but yeah, no,
they're not coming out of there. They're not making the
They're not making the playoffs.
What do you think about? Let's move to the AFC.
Well, wait a minute. We can't leave the NFC just yet.
Why not?
Well, we got to talk about the NFC East. Only because that shit show is going to be interesting to watch.
Well, it's an invitation to who's going to get knocked out in the wild card.
Yeah, probably by the Seahawks or something like that. I don't know. Dallas.
It's amazing.
Dallas looked good, but hey, man, what are you doing?
My phone's ringing.
Hey,
it's Mom.
Hey, we're in the middle of a show.
Should I tell her?
No, we're in the middle of a show.
I'm hanging up on Mom. I'm gonna tell Mom that you told me to hang up.
How unprofessional of you.
I knew it was going to happen one day.
Jesus.
It only took 48 episodes.
That's not bad.
That's pretty good.
I
was aiming for 50. I was close.
Almost. Well, maybe in the next 50. What were we talking about?
I don't know, but you hung up on Mom. That's what I'm telling her. You were talking about the NFC least.
Oh, yeah. It's a shit show, but it'll be entertaining to watch. If the Eagles win next week, is it a 3-way tie up at the top? Am I right?
That I'm not sure about. I stopped watching a long time ago.
Yeah, if the Eagles win and the Redskins lose, it's a 3-way tie at the top. Someone's gonna win that division at 8-8 and go in the playoffs.
I won't be surprised if it's 7-9. I really won't be.
It'll be more than that
because they
already got 2 teams at 6-5.
Oh, okay.
So someone's gonna make it to 8.
Well, you would think that one of those teams can win 2 more.
They play each other a whole bunch.
True. It's
that
amazing.
Terrible.
It's amazing how that division has gone from like the best division, right,
to the worst.
To the worst division.
It's the worst division in all of football.
Is it?
What's worse?
AFC East. That's a pretty bad division.
Yeah, but at least they have one really good team.
Yeah, but that's a bad.
They got one really good team though. The NFC East has 0 really good teams at this point.
God. Could you imagine the Bills, the Jets, the Dolphins, and the Giants in one division this year? That's horrible.
Can you imagine if they merged those two divisions? What those games would look like?
Jeez.
Oh.
Who else? What's another bad division? The West is pretty bad. The NFC West.
No, well, but again, you've got a Super Bowl contender in that division, and the Seahawks are playing good football.
They're playing better.
Yeah,
I'll give them that.
they're playing better. They're a decent team.
Could that be the team that makes the run in the NFC? There's always that team, and we're right about at the mark, the 13th week.
Yeah, no, but I still don't.
You don't think so?
I mean, I get what you're saying, but this year with those two dominant teams at 10-1 right now, I don't see it.
A little too much.
It's a little too much for someone to get hot. Certainly, the Vikings could. They're a good football team. The Seahawks, but I just don't see it this year. To me, the Saints and the Rams are head and shoulders above the rest.
That's my line, by the way.
Well, you use it inappropriately.
Well, the team that I say is head and shoulders is head above. Maybe not shoulders, but it is head above. They're one game up on the Patsies.
They lost to the Pats.
I think the Vikings are the team that might go on a little run here to end the season and maybe make some noise.
They've got the tools, and the Bears are good, but I don't trust them yet. Quarterback.
Well, that's important in the playoffs.
Yeah, very. And we don't know about Trubisky. Speaking of quarterbacks, what exactly was Ben Roethlisberger thinking on that fourth down drive? I mean, there were 2 Broncos.
Well, on the drive he was good. On the last play,
I mean, what was that?
He was off balance. He wasn't even set, and he just he says he didn't even see him. He was engaged with the other lineman. I'm like, I think he was first of all, if he's a linebacker. The guy.
Those guys. I mean, the Broncos are wearing those, bright orange. How do you not see that guy? There was 2 of them. There wasn't one. There was 2 of them. There's no way he's making that catch.
I mean that's a case of just not having a good enough excuse and just
I didn't see him.
Yeah, that's it. I didn't see his bright orange.
If you think about it, that's a pretty good excuse. Hey, look, if I saw him, I wouldn't have thrown it.
Exactly. Duh. See? Apologize to Big Ben now because
it's a shame. Look, they're still in control in that division.
Oh my God. The Bungles. Yeah,
You're look at that.
He gone. Oh, fantasy baby, is that Lamar Miller? Tell me if that's blue, I'm walking out the show. Yeah. No, I'm not. I'm really not.
That's is that Miller?
That's Miller.
That's Miller.
Fantasy lives matter. Yes, there's a God. Points, baby. Yeah. I picked him up via trade too.
Did you? Someone traded him to you?
Yeah.
He just peeled off like a 95-yarder.
That's awesome.
Wow.
Screw you, Kamara. I hold a grudge against Kamara. Well, actually, Sean Payton for only giving the ball twice.
Do you still have him?
Of course, yeah.
My God, that's a 97-yarder.
Damn.
Whew. Wow, the Texans are looking good. Now that we're talking AFC, so your sleeper team has gone to sleep.
Listen, Alex's
sleeper
jinx is in full effect.
Well, that's not true because you picked Texans and Saints in the Super Bowl. Yeah, the Texans have reeled off 7 straight, looking good tonight. The Saints are 10-1. So you're not, it's not the kiss of death yet.
I like to be perfect.
But the Bengals, on the other hand,
oh man, what do you think about Baker Mayfield dissing Hugh Jackson?
I don't think it's a diss. He's right.
I totally agree.
It's not a diss. It's absolutely right. And look, we have praised the Patriots for years because they do things the Patriot way and everything's about that team and they're very, they don't care about anything but their team and they focus on the task at hand and nothing else. And that's what Baker Mayfield is doing. And that's what he did. And look, he's right. I'm not saying that Hugh Jackson shouldn't have gone to Cincinnati. It's a free market. He got fired. If you don't think he was good enough to be on your team, then he can go wherever he wants, and you shouldn't hate him for it.
Right.
But that doesn't mean I have to be chummy with him when he goes and he signs on with a team that's a division rival.
I mean, look, you have to look no further than the Cincinnati Bengals. The culture in Cincinnati has not changed with Marvin Lewis.
Right.
The culture in Cleveland was not changing with Hugh Jackson.
And what he did last night was a culture-changing move.
Yeah. Yep.
So
I agree.
And look, I don't particularly have a problem with the defensive back that gave the ball to Hugh Jackson. I don't have a problem with it.
I thought that was kind of funny.
But I kind of don't like it either.
No.
Look, respect the guy all you want. Shake his hand after the game, give him a big hug, take him out to dinner, whatever. But during the game, no, man.
I think that was a case of being at the right place at the right time. Seriously,
yeah.
Because I mean, he caught the interception.
Yeah, right in front of him. I get it.
Front of him.
But I have no problem with Baker Mayfield and people talking about, oh, he's got a chip on his shoulder. Nah, man. He's, look, he's the enemy. And you don't have to be chummy with him.
Yeah, no, I got no problems with it.
I kind of liked it.
Man, he's got that moxie on about him,
You know what? But that's what Cleveland needs.
Yeah, they do.
That's what they need. That's what they've needed for a while, and as long as he backs it up, he can have all the moxie he wants.
And then you got the Ravens in that division that they're quietly winning games.
They're quietly going to make the playoffs if people aren't careful.
Yeah.
The problem with them is their quarterback situation, right? Because, and I don't know where I land on this. What do you think about Lamar Jackson?
I think he provides them necessary plays. Like, I don't know. A scrambling quarterback doesn't last very long.
Chances are he's not going to last
in the NFL.
Right.
So then what do? I mean, you have Joe Flacco, who you're paying a ton of money.
Well, I think you have to play him more, Lamar Jackson, because he's a I won't say a game changer, but he does provide something for that offense. And look, Joe Flacco's not that good.
No.
Joe Flacco had one hot run, and it was a great run, and he cashed in on it, but he's not that good. He's just not. I
mean, think about, Michael Vick. I mean, defenses had to prepare for him.
Yeah.
I'm not saying Lamar Jackson is going to be Michael Vick. He could very well be one day.
He doesn't throw the ball well enough. Right. Everyone thinks of Michael Vick as a scrambling quarterback and whatnot, but Michael Vick
had an arm.
And he could put it where he wanted. So it's kind of unfair. Every time we talk about running quarterback, we want to compare him to Michael Vick. Easy. He could also throw, and Lamar Jackson can throw, but not quite like Michael Vick.
I guess the Ravens really need to decide which way they want to go this offseason, right? Because what are you doing paying this guy all this money if
well, it's not even a money thing. It's how you structure your team, right?
Right, but you can't structure a team if you're paying this quarterback $25 million a year.
Right.
You got to make some room.
It's not. My point is, it's not just a financial thing. It's an X's and O's thing, right? Like, how are you going to structure this team to work going forward? I don't know. I will tell you this. I think that's the right guy to do it. Yeah. I think if there's a coach that can do it, meaning have Flacco and Lamar Jackson and have kind of a hybrid offense, I think John Harbaugh is that guy.
Why?
But it's a tough task.
Now, why hasn't John Harbaugh received the slack that McCarthy has received? Won Super Bowl, and they haven't.
Well, because he hasn't done it. He hasn't had the greatest quarterback of all time on his
that's
slot.
right. Okay.
That's the difference.
Understandable. I think he's more of a player's coach too. They respect him a little more.
And plus, remember, Baltimore has been built on defense for years as opposed to offense, and
true.
So we tend to be less critical of coaches who have built their teams on defense if their offense isn't so good, right? So
makes sense.
Whereas with the Packers, it's always been about the offense.
True that. Who else?
Well, that's about it. Right?
In the West?
Talk about the West. The Chargers are looking great.
Melvin Gordon went down. He might not be back to the playoffs.
That's a huge loss for them.
They play the Steelers next week on Sunday night.
And that's a big game for both teams. Although I think the Chargers, even if the Chargers limp the rest of the way, I think they're going to get in. They're 8-3, and the Ravens and the Colts are at 6-5. But other than that,
Phillip Rivers went 25 for 25 yesterday to start off the game. Man, impressive or not? Because I've seen a bunch of tweets on Twitter talking about 25 for 25, 200 and something yards, and people are saying, "Oh, well, he did it on checkdowns and it was averaging 2 point something yards." I mean, 25 for 25.
I mean, look. If you go 10 for 10 and there's 5 checkdowns, okay, I'm not that impressed.
25.
But 25?
Give the man his credit.
Yeah, look, anytime you can go... In today's NFL, with those big linemen, something could have gotten tipped. Those safeties and linebackers and whatnot, hitting receivers when they catch the ball. I mean, anything could happen. To go 25 for 25, that's pretty impressive in my book.
I mean, I remember doing that back in my day, but I never got, Twitter wasn't around, so they wouldn't.
So no one gave you a hard time about it.
So 21 points now. The Texans are just pouring it on here. 21-10.
Well, the Titans are hard to figure out.
They are.
They've had some games where they've played great, and they've had some games where they've just shit the bed.
No, the team that's been looking good lately are the Colts. Now, I don't know how much longer they can keep it up. They're 6-5, right?
And have they won like 4 in a row?
I think so, and they're doing it they're doing it without giving up sacks. Like, well, rightfully so, they should protect the heck out of Andrew Luck, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, they should protect him. Let's see. So they've won 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in a row.
Holy cow.
Now, mind you, in those 5 games, I mean, they haven't beat a whole lot of good teams either, right?
Chat.
They've beat the Bills, the Raiders, Jaguars, Titans, and Dolphins. Oh, and they get the Jaguars.
6 in a row.
6 in a row, because if you're playing the Jaguars, you got to hope and pray that Jalen Ramsey says something, because then all of a sudden...
Josh Allen comes back after being injured for most of the season.
He didn't have great numbers throwing the ball, but he had 96 rushing yards. So
and he had a touchdown. He had
like a 45-yard running touchdown.
Right. Either way, he had like a couple touchdowns.
Yeah, I mean,
which Josh Allen
and no turnover. Well, he fumbled once, but he didn't have any interceptions.
But Ramsey talked about him in that whatever article before the season. And
if I'm the Colts, I send a reporter to Jacksonville and I ask him 50,000 questions about Andrew Luck so that he can call him trash and Andrew Luck can throw for 350 yards, score 2 touchdowns, and they win.
What a mess the Jaguars, huh? After having such a great season last year, they fire their offensive coordinator. Blake Bortles gets benched.
Look, I hope they do the right thing by Blake Bortles. Right?
And what?
They should release him so he can latch on to a Super Bowl contender and take them the rest of the way, right? I mean,
the Bears.
I mean, right? Well, I mean, if Trubisky's hurt, right? I mean, maybe bring him trade for him. Bring him in as a backup to Drew Brees in case Drew Brees goes down. I mean, if you're a contender, you got to do it.
This guy will give you 90-something yards on the ground in a
and then 75 in the air.
Yeah,
I mean, that's 165 yards. They are a mess.
Yeah, it is. But things were looking up for them, right? I mean, they looked
last year.
Yeah,
and they started okay this year.
Even going forward, but
they started okay this year. They won their first couple games.
Now they just look like they're in complete rebuild mode.
It's not even rebuild. Now it's just a dumpster fire, right? They're just
terrible.
It's a mess. It is a mess. And I hate to say it, but this is what happens when you let the inmates run the asylum. And that's a team with a weak, in my opinion, a weak head coach. And they got all these mouthpieces in the media. And you got Leonard Fournette coming off the bench to get into a fight.
He's suspended for 1 game now.
Did he get suspended for a game?
Yeah, he got suspended for a game.
I mean...
You know what?
Good fight, though.
That's what I was going to say. So
one of the best NFL fights I've ever seen.
Yeah, but... I need to see more body shots. I don't want to see headshots while the guy... That or just take off your helmets and then fight.
Well, no, don't take your helmet off.
Why not?
Protection.
Well, then stop hitting the other player on the head with the helmet on.
I don't understand.
Sweep the leg.
Yeah. I don't know why they swing at the head, but...
Get him, Daniel.
Oh, man. Well, that pretty much covers the NFL, don't you think?
I think so. I mean, it was. So I was looking at at some of the betting trends of the NFL like the past 2 weeks, and it's been like public. So it's like no real upsets or no,
Yeah.
No real
It's been pretty quiet.
Games that have swung the other way.
Yeah, it's been kind of the last couple of weeks. It seems like everything's kind of settled down, and you can kind of see where things are going.
Yeah, this
is the
point. The good
teams are winning, the bad teams are losing.
Exactly.
It's kind of status quo.
This is the point of the season where you separate the good. And...
Well, at this point, the teams are banged up, and the effort's not there sometimes.
No, true.
And you just kind of look like limping along, hoping for the season to be over. I'm surprised at the in-season moves on certain coaches and stuff, but in some situations, I think it's the right thing to do. I think in Cleveland, it was absolutely the right thing to do.
Yeah.
That was a toxic situation apparently, and so
Agreed.
I'm normally not a big fan of doing stuff during the season, but in a case like that where it's just going to deteriorate further, and especially when you have a young quarterback, it's probably best to just...
in football, it's only 16 games. If you got Hugh Jackson in baseball, keeping him for 162 games is just too damn long.
Right. But that's that's why usually you just kind of let it be in the in the NFL. They let it go. The Jags coach is going to get fired.
Yeah, there's no way he's sticking around.
He's gone.
What if Tom Coughlin comes out of coaching retirement?
Who else is going to get fired?
McCarthy.
I don't know that McCarthy's going to get fired, bro.
McCarthy.
The Packers are not like that.
10 years, bro. That's a long freaking time already.
Yeah, I know, but there's certain teams that are not quick to fire. The Giants, the Packers, the Steelers, the Chiefs, the Patriots, but the Patriots have had a lot of success. Those teams are not quick to fire.
I won't be surprised if the Seahawks let go of Carroll. I think that has run its course.
Yeah, I agree with you that it's run its course, but I don't know that it's... I don't think the end result is going to be bad enough for him to get fired. I think they're going to end up 8-8, 9-7, and they're going to keep him.
Yeah, I can't think of another team. Belichick, he might be on the hot seat.
I mean, if he goes to the Super Bowl again and loses, that's going to be it for him.
What else we got?
I don't know.
Wrap it up, or?
What else you got? Tell me what you got, bro.
I got nothing, man.
Nothing? We'll make this a short one.
Let's make it a short one. Monday Night Football's on. I got to go watch my future Super Bowl team.
The Texans?
The Texans.
Hey, folks, if you want to get a hold of us, if you want to chime in on all of our football talk, you can reach the show via email at positivesports10@gmail.com. Positivesports10@gmail.com. If you want to get a hold of me, you can do so on Twitter at eMontana21. And if you want to get a hold of this guy,
on Twitter at Brooklyn Gaucho 8.
That's the number 8.
The number 8.
As in his IQ. Or his age.
Or I act like it sometimes.
Or how he acts, yeah.
You should see me up in that pantry sometime. Getting snacks.
You got a shout out?
What kind of question is that?
I don't know.
I don't. I was thinking about it while you were doing our plugs. I don't have a shout out. I don't know. I don't have a shout out. I don't have a shout out. I can't think of one. I don't have a shout out.
I'm gonna wait until you have one.
We're gonna be here, dude. The game's gonna be over.
I don't have a shout out so much as I'd just like to bring some recognition. Yesterday, I think it was yesterday or maybe day before yesterday, Bob McNair, the owner of the Texans, passed away, and usually owners aren't a big deal unless their name is Jerry Jones, but Bob McNair brought football back to Houston after the Oilers left for Tennessee years ago. He was very instrumental in bringing the Texans, bringing about the creation of the Texans, and he was instrumental in bringing an NFL team back to the city of Houston, which, quite honestly, when they didn't have a team here, it kind of felt weird that a city this large and in the state of Texas didn't have a team. So I guess I don't know if it's a shout out or thank you or whatever, but I guess my heartfelt thanks to Bob McNair, and thoughts and prayers to his family, and I hope everything goes well. I know that's
definitely
kind of a somber shout out, but you get my point. I'm very, very happy we have the Texans here, and I think it's kind of cool that as much work as he did to bring the team here. So for that, I am grateful.
I'd like to see the Texans go far.
Yeah, sometimes teams, when stuff goes wrong like that,
seriously,
right?
Yeah.
Like the Boston Marathon bombing, the Red Sox won the World Series. Last year with the hurricane.
Is that
Astros won the World Series?
Is it right to think like that? Seriously, are we going to hell?
No, I mean
I'm probably still going, but
no, I mean if you said yes, he died, we're gonna win the Super Bowl, that would be bad, right? Like if you were like, maybe this is a good thing.
I'm gonna put out a hit on this guy.
Yeah, that would be bad. But no, I mean,
right, it happened.
A lot of teams use it as an impetus to go forward. The Patriots won when Bob Kraft died. Bob Kraft, when his wife passed away, who was very close to the team. So it happens quite a bit.
Yeah, it does.
And additionally, you have to have a good team, right? Because when Art Modell died, it didn't do anything for the Browns because they were terrible.
Still hasn't.
Yeah, apparently not. But the Texans are a good football team, and so who knows?
Agreed.
They're going to have a good season regardless. So, episode 48, famous 48.
Fuck, you got me again. I don't. 48, Troy Percival. I don't know.
Do you know that we do a podcast every week? Are you not aware? Did you not get the memo? Do I need to remind you that we do a podcast?
I was voted the most unprepared student in class
ever.
Back in pre-K.
Quite honestly, I can't think of a 48.
Oh, I got one.
Yes.
I got a good one. You don't have one?
No.
Torrey Hunter.
Oh, that is a good one. I like Torrey Hunter.
He's good.
He was awesome.
Good baseball player, good person.
Good dude, yeah.
Robbed Barry Bonds of that home run in the All-Star game.
That's exactly what I remember. I remember that more than anything else about
Torrey
the guy.
Hunter. That's right.
Let's see, 48. We're getting up in numbers where we're going to have to, baseball players will almost be out of the question. It'll be football, pretty much.
Yeah?
48.
And then, after 99, we're screwed. I got one for 100.
Did you wear number 100 when you were a kid?
No, but Will Chamberlain scored 100.
Yeah, he didn't wear on. And then
I gave it away.
And then when we do podcast 20,000, you can go to Will Chamberlain again.
For how many points he scored?
No, for how many chicks he bagged. Do you have to explain everything to you?
Damn, that's a lot of chicks.
Yeah, well, it's legend. I think it's legend, but whatever. Anyway, so we've come to the end of another wonderful episode of the Positive Sports Podcast. Again, if you guys want to get a hold of the show, positivesports10@gmail.com is the email address for the show. If you want to get a hold of my brother, you can do so on Twitter at BrooklynGaucho8. If you want to get a hold of me, you can do so on Twitter as well at eMontana21. And as always, folks, we appreciate you listening. We appreciate your time. But more importantly, Ignore the negativity. Be the positivity.
Peace.